Welcome back to the show. On the show today, again, we have author Marianne Of Waikiki all the way from Hawaii, but today she is up in Vancouver. So tell us what you're doing up in Canada, Marianne. Thanks and welcome to the show.
Well, aloha and thank you, Jay, and aloha, Canada. I'm here to stay and play for a couple of weeks here in Vancouver, Canada. I have an opportunity to visit Canada to visit some neighbors that I met through my sailing journey with Clean Water Foundation. And I'm here for a couple of weeks. I'm real excited. I'll tell you about my journey on the airplane, being hard of a hearing community, and well, book author of the Acts of Kindness series, featuring 200 folk manus puppets. My books are written for animation movies with sign language characters and soundtrack by Lucy Lynch in the Perfect Way. And I got to share my books on the flight and was greeted by amazing people. And I just want to put a shout out to the Vancouver airport. They actually had two men signing. So when you're coming in, explaining how the airport works, how to pick up your bags, and what to do for customs, because that was something new to me. And being hard of hearing, I needed help from the custom people. And it was a very beautiful experience. And oh, by the way, Jay, I did ask him if I could videotape it because these two sign language interpreters were beautiful. I wanted to sit down at another time to evaluate to see if it was really Canadian Sign Language, American Sign Language. It looked very similar, and what a great entry to come into your country.
That's hold on, hold that thought. That's a great thing that I would never even think of. So is there a difference between Canadian Sign Language and American Sign Language?
I didn't see any with just that short clip,
Okay.
um, but it's pretty much similar. But there are different signs for British Sign Language and all that. So again, just like with different dialects, you speak French over in Toronto. I'm flying up Aero Mexico, and I'm thinking they're speaking in Spanish. And I asked the lady next to me, and I go, "They're still speaking in Spanish, and we're going to Canada." She's like, "No, that's French." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay." So yeah,
Did
it
they
was
let
a
you did they let
whirlwind.
you did they let you videotape it or no?
Yeah, I did ask. Yeah.
Oh, they did. They let you.
Yeah, I want to make permission. So coming new, I want to stay here for a while and customs. And I explained I'm hard of hearing. I'm a sign language interpreter, and I wanted to evaluate it to see what the difference was and to learn if there that you have different. Vancouver, Vancouver in Canada. In Canada, we use different Canada in America, and it can be different at different states how people use it.
I would, you know what I would love to do? I'd love to be able to edit, if we could edit that little clip at the airport into our edited version of today's show, I would love it. So if you could, I'll connect you with our producer after the show, and we would love to edit it in as one of our commercials. So now, let me ask you this. So do they have what you saw here in Vancouver Airport? Do they have that at your airport in the USA?
No, I haven't seen anything like that. No.
No, no way. And because you're quite the traveler too, so you haven't seen that at any airport.
Well, Honolulu is where I was based, and I'm sailing. So yeah, I'm kind of in solitude and kind of like I had a little culture shock too, getting back into seeing, the busyness. And I was telling, I'm up here and seeing actually motorhomes and trailers living on the island of Hawaii. They don't have that. They don't permit that. So it's a beautiful country up here. So yeah. So it's
When did you arrive into Canada?
Well, I left Sunday morning, and I'll just share the story with you because a person with disabilities. So I left San Carlos, Mexico. That's where the sailboat is, and I flew to Mexico City. And I didn't ask for a wheelchair, but they had a lot of people there with wheelchairs and said, "Would you like one?" And I said, "Sure." I had a broken foot in the past and carrying heavy bags, my back and my neck. And so they wheeled me down to the one part of the airport. So I sat there and I got off and with my bags. So I knew I was going to be there for a couple of hours. And I'm watching everything, trying to do everything, going up to them. And then your ticket, they have different zones. I didn't really know where the gate was. And I waited and go up there, and then they're like, no, you need to go over here. So I went over there, and then I would keep going up. And so some of them, Mexican, Spanish, I'm trying to read lips. It's not really, and it's a thunderstorm. I have a hearing loss. My ear is popping, so which it makes it worse. And that's what happens with people too with disabilities or anybody flying. And so I'm sat there, and I go up again, and they're like, you missed your flight. And I said, why did I miss my flight? And so they're like, oh, it's on the other side of the airport. So I got left there. Okay. So it wasn't so I went down. I'm panicking because, I'm in a foreign country and not fluent with stuff. But I got to the gate and I said, can you set me up in a hotel room? It's not my fault. And which they did. They were kind enough to do that. Beautiful hotel. It was Mexico Independence Day. So Viva la Mexico. I got to experience Mexico, but it was so rainy, thunder and lightning. It wasn't firecrackers for celebration outside my window. And so I got refreshed and got up the next day. And so, like, the universe put us together. And I just want to share this with you. So, but I want to share it too. It's frustrating because the person with a hearing loss or anybody in general, usually at 6 o'clock, I tell my friends I don't go out because one, the sun comes down and it's really hard because after that it's hard to lip read and to understand what's going on. So that was another challenge at the airport. Okay, so now the sun's down and they're speaking Spanish, which I'm not fluent in, and I can't really read the lips. So and everybody is scrolling on their iPhones. Okay, so now you got to get the Google out, translate it here. I need a taxi, taxi, taxi to the airport. So that was a learning lesson, and we got through it. So I'm sharing those challenges that anybody can have at the airport. That's not me, but having a hearing loss, especially with the rain, and then the air pressure, the altitude that I'm in a different thing. So
Let's talk a little bit about the air. Let's talk a little bit about the airports. Like, I haven't flown myself. I haven't flown since, I don't think I've flown since 2012. I went to India. India was amazing. I got invited to India to do my show. So I went to India, straight flight, 18 hours from Toronto to India. But the crazy thing is because it's such a long flight, I mean, you can drink on the flight. Halfway across the flight, they stopped serving booze because they don't want people to get out of control, which obviously it makes sense. But for those people who can control their liquor, hey, what's going on? But it's just back when I traveled. Well, it was after 2011, so it was so much fun to travel back in the day. Remember when back in the day to travel was like, oh my goodness, like I'm going to the airport and you just got to be there an hour before and they take your bags and you go on and everybody's fun and everybody's positive and happy, and those days are gone. All I hear when people travel is, oh my God, get me home. Get me
Yeah.
home. It's sad really how going away, traveling on an airplane was one of a kid's highlight. Growing like, oh my God, I'm going on a plane. Like, it was really exciting back in the day. And now all you hear is I had to stay overnight and they didn't help me and they didn't give me vouchers and I lost my baggage. And so God bless you. God bless you, traveler. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick break? And when we come back, I want to see a little bit what you have planned for Vancouver, because I know you're a busy lady, so I'm sure you and your books are doing the tour. So stay tuned. On the show today, we have Marianne of Waikiki. She's an author for her book series, Acts of Kindness, which we're going to be doing some promos later. So stay tuned. You're watching Suite 303. We'll be right back.